Hey guys, so it's been over a couple of months since I last went to locals, but I had some time and went for a Yu-Gi-Oh day and I managed to actually come first place. I won a Red Eyes Darkness Metal playmat and a bunch of Synchro Storm packs, which were just absolute ass. The list I used is still the same since the YCS because it still works and the format has not really changed yet since Burst of Destiny is not legal as of this tournament. So this was a replay from top 4 against Shaddoll Invoked. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough battery on my phone to record my final match, which surprisingly was against Gren Maju. Anyways, enough of me talking, here's a condensed gameplay with commentary. So we are of course going second for this game 1. So our opponent is going to start with the Magical Meltdown. It's a little cut off there at the end. The desk was not big enough this time around for me to be able to record the full setting. And also, I actually played against him in Swiss, and I actually did lose because he pretty much super polyed me like 5 times at least in the span of 3 games. It was not fun, but anyways, he's going to use the Alistair effect to search, and I am going to Ash that. And so he's going to activate Foolish. So my opponent and myself, we actually didn't draw too well. This game 1 is pretty weird, to be honest with you. And so anyways, he is going to dump the Beast. I know there's a bit of glare there. And so with Beast, he will draw 1. Looks like he drew Aerial, not the greatest. He's going to go into Almirage, and then secure Garna. At this point, I was totally expecting him to have Invocation already, but he actually just passes. Secure Garna pass, that's definitely not formidable at all. Unfortunately, my hand is absolute garbage. So I'm just going to Special Summon Cyber Dragon. We'll Contact Fuse that away, go into Mega Fleet, and we just poke for 2400. We're going to set 2 cards. And pass turn. For turn, my opponent will use another Meltdown to try to get the Alistair, but I do have the Cosmic Cyclone and I will just banish that so it will not be able to resolve. And looks like our opponent is just going to set 1 and pass turn. So very slow game so far. So I'm going to activate Pot of Prosperity. That was a good top deck, hoping that it will get me going because my hand is really bad. So we banish 6. And our opponent will activate the Ash. I guess he bricked on hand traps, and that does hurt quite a bit. Now I am worried of all these Shaddoll monsters triggering, but I do decide to attack here. It is Aerial though, and because its flip effect is more so to special a banished Shaddoll monster, it actually doesn't trigger here. So I'm just gonna pass again with just Mega Fleet on board. So our opponent, who I later find out was this was a blind allure, and so he does draw Dark. I believe that's the dragon, so he'll banish that, but at least from my view of his hand right now, it really does not look very good for him. So he's just going to set 1 again, and again, this game 1 was just really weird. So I believe I drew a Red Eyes Black Dragon for turn, just adding insult to wound. Like, so it's just Mega Fleet beatdown, and he again just plays another set, and you know, this is just old school Yu-Gi-Oh! But I do finally top deck the core, and so with the effect, I will add the Rev System. Next, I will just Kaiju his set, and then I'm going to activate the Ref System. And so I am going to Contact Fuse away the Kaiju with the core to go into Fortress. And then I go into Anaconda right away for some reason. I mean, already with Mega Fleet, Fortress, and Cyber Dragon, that was game, but perhaps I guess I just forgot about the life points and I thought he was still at full, and that's why I was going through Anaconda, but he did scoop, so, you know, I still did make out of it despite my rusty play there. So on to game 2. Alright, so that was a really weird game 1, but on to game 2, and he actually forces me to go first. So he did the same thing when I played against him in Swiss, so I did expect that, and I did, you know, side Imperial Order, but of course I'm not going to draw that because it is just a one of. And looking at my opponent's hand, I think he has 3 El Shaddoll Fusion, which is absolutely gross. But, you know, my hand again, honestly, wasn't too good either, so I'm going to normal summon the core, use its effect to search. And I will just add the Overflow for safety measures. So we're going to link that away for the Almirage. Use Ref System. Bring back the core. And then you know what to do. It is Anaconda. We're going to activate the effect. Pay cost. Send the Red Eyes Fusion. Sending Red Eyes. I did draw the Dark Magician. And we're going to bring out Dragoon. So we are going to set 2 and pass turn. I was quite worried here because I know he plays Super Poly and looks like he actually just top decks the Super Poly. So he will just discard one of his 3 El Shaddoll Fusions. Unfortunate, but I really didn't have anything else to put up, so I did still bring out the Anaconda and Dragoon. So he is going to summon the Starving Venom, and so he'll just poke for 2800. And next looks like he's gonna just set a monster and set a card and pass turn. So I know it's cut off a little here on the screen, but I am gonna use Core's Effect by banishing from grave to special from the deck a Cyber Dragon monster. And so I am gonna bring out the Hers. Now at this moment, my opponent does activate El Shaddoll Fusion, and he did mention that he did misplay. He should have done it on the activation of Core's Effect so that, you know, he would bring out the window and then I would have already summoned one. But that wasn't going to matter anyway, so you will see why shortly. So he is going to fuse into window, and then Wendy will trigger, setting the beast. And unfortunately for him, he did special the window in zones 2 and 4, which means that is relinquished anima territory. Next, I will activate Machine Dupe on the Hers, and then I'm going to chain the droplets, send the Machine Dupe as cost, and I am going to negate the window. So like I said earlier, really didn't matter whether he activated El Shaddoll Fusion on Core's Effect. So I am going to bring out the 2 Cyber Dragons here. So we are going to go into Nova. Now at this point, we already did use up Anaconda and Dragoon, so you know that was pretty unfortunate, but we are trying to grind here. Next, we will go into that animal, and then Hers is going to trigger, and we'll add the final Cyber Dragon from deck to hand. So we will use Nova's effect, detach Cyber Dragon, special it right back, then we'll go into Infinity, and then Anima will suck up that window and gain 2200 attack. So we are just going to attack the beast, and I do decide to negate on the effect here. I mean, he didn't really have much of a play, it seemed like, so I didn't really want him to draw 2 and also discard 1, which might potentially trigger a Shaddoll monster if he draws it. So we are just going to negate here, but of course because I destroy with a card effect, then the other effect triggers and he's just going to be able to draw 1. So I'm just going to attach back the Cyber Dragon with Infinity and pass turn here, and looks like he's just going to set 1 in a back row and pass turn. And in end phase, I am just going to pop his both of his cards by banishing the Hero's Engrave and the original Cyber Dragon in hand, and pop the 2, which really, it wasn't too much. Set Ash, I mean, not too much unfortunately, and of course we will just enter battle for game. So that was it, guys. I know it was a very quick match, but I hope you enjoyed it. I was definitely rusty, and you can clearly see by some of the misplays I was making, but hope you enjoyed it. Take care, guys.